Now, Paul Pogba is officially now a Monaco player, Jules. You must be so happy for him.
I am. And as you know, I'm completely biased with when it's come down to Paul Pogba, who's my friend, who I love dearly, and who went through some very difficult time with all the story with his family and childhood friends, and obviously the doping ban, which he put on to himself. So there's no sympathy to have there so much. But I think the tears that he showed when he signed that contract were genuine. I think he was very, very emotional for real, because I think there was a time where he thought he would never play football again. So now for him to get a contract for 2 years, it could have been a year, it could have been 6 months. He would have been so happy in a really good club where he feels like they really wanted him. He would bring his experience to a young team. They would play in the Champions League. They would play in Ligue 1. For him, who's never played in Ligue 1 because he left Le Havre too young. He hadn't played in Ligue 1 yet to go to Manchester United at 16. I think it's a wonderful end of what was a horrendous story for most of the last 3 years or so.
I used to cover Juventus week in, week out. And when he was at his pomp, there was no better midfield player in the world at that particular time. You know, people laugh at me when I said no, when he was at Juventus, he was incredible. He could do everything. And it was such a shame that he didn't reproduce that form at Manchester United. He did on certain occasions. But that period at Juventus, when he was a young player and he had Pirlo in behind him, Marquisio and the Chilean Vidal in that midfield, he was magnificent.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
He was. And I don't know how long it will take him to get back to full fitness, to his level, or how close to his best he can.
What will probably happen with him, because he's been out for a long time, and again, speaking from experience, he will have periods where he'll be good. But he'll also have periods where he can't quite get around the pitch. He'll have 1 or 2 injuries because he hasn't played at a competitive level for long enough. But he will still be a good footballer. You don't lose that.
I really hope. No, that's true. Chelsea are closing on the signing of Joao Pedro from Brighton, Stewart, for £50 million. Good move?
Depends where you're going to play him, because
I
don't see him as an out-and-out centre forward. I don't see him as an out-and-out wide player. I see him playing in a sort of. We were talking about Harvey Elliott. You know, about where does he play? He's got all the attributes. He's a good. Whenever I've seen him play for Brighton, I think he's an excellent player. But are Chelsea going down that road again of buying everybody and trying to make things happen, and then they're going to have too many players, and how do they fit them into the team? It's an interesting one. But 50 million. I mean, his record at Brighton is a fair. His record at Watford was good. So he's proved he can play. But I think 50 million is a lot of money for him.
I guess it gives you another option, right? As this second striker, probably his best position would be behind a striker, second striker, which is where Cole Palmer's best position probably is.
Of course,
too.
Yeah.
The other day against Benfica, they played without any wingers because Neto and Cucurella were the two wide players. And with just the lap, and then Enzo and Cole Palmer as the 2 10s behind him. So I guess he could replace Enzo maybe.
And Enzo then drop that little bit deeper.
Maybe. But then I guess it's another option. Yeah, it's great to have many options. You can play in different systems. But I'm not really seeing where he would fit straight away.
Well, that's my first view when I was asked the question. Now, Habib Diarra is on his way to Sunderland, Jules. What kind of player is he? I haven't seen too much of him.
Well, he was a star at Strasbourg in what was a very good season for them. They finished 7th in the league. Outstanding player. Sunderland fans, you're getting a really, really good player. Senegalese international who could have played for France. 37 million euros, which is a lot of money. Leeds had an offer at 26 million euros that was rejected by Strasbourg. 37 million made it. And so that's around 32 million pounds.
Is it a danger going to a team that have just been promoted and
maybe
are favourites to go back down again?
Maybe.
Will he be able to show his real quality?
At least there's a French coach there in the Regis.
Yeah.
There's a few French players that Sunderland are ready to help him settle in and adapting. I think he's a wonderful box-to-box midfielder. We talked about Pogba. He can do everything. He's got so much energy. He's such a smart player too. I just can't wait. He's still young, and this is his first experience abroad, really. Before that, he's always been in Strasbourg or Mulhouse and that kind of area. So let's see how he does. And you're right, in an environment that he will lose more games than he will win this season. I think we pretty know that. They might stay up, but they will still lose a few. So let's see how well he adapts. But I think he's got all the qualities to play in the Premier League and do well there. So I'm really excited, and I think Sunderland fans should be very excited too. Back to Chelsea, because guess what? Another new signing is coming for a change. Jamie Gittens from Borussia Dortmund for, I think, another £55 million this time.
Yeah, he's a player that, again, I've done a lot of Dortmund over the last couple of years with Derek Ray on the commentary for ESPN. And he's a player that's been in and out. You know, there was a period when Dortmund weren't playing very well, but he was their best player. You think, well, why isn't he playing more often? You know, because he was going past, but he's got plenty of pace. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can play on the left-hand side, coming in from that left-hand side. And there was other days where he was non-existent and made all the wrong decisions. So again, you have to judge him by what his average performance is. And his average performance probably isn't at a level that will say he's going to tear the Premier League, to shreds. So while he's a decent signing, I wouldn't say it's something to get too excited about from a Chelsea point of view.
And then when you get Estevao that we mentioned, and you've got Madueke and you've got Neto, okay, there's no Mudryk anymore, or Joao Felix is not going to stay, and he's not the same profile either. That's a lot of wingers that you have. Again, the other day they played without wingers because Neto was kind of like a right wing back, if you want. So I'm not sure where Gittens fits.
So again,
and he has to stay fit as well because he had a few injuries.
Is the manager making decisions on, or are there people making decisions? Now you've got to fit them into the team.
I don't think Maresca has much to say on who they sign.
So it's always going to be difficult for him.
6 months after his arrival at Al Nassr, John Duran, remember him from Aston Villa? He's on the move again. Shu, he would go on loan to Fenerbahce. What's happened? What's going on here?
He's obviously a talented player, very talented player. We saw that Aston Villa. He can score goals. He's got plenty of pace. He can lead the line.
Yeah,
I mean, and he got a massive transfer to Saudi Arabia. But there must be something, and I say this carefully, something wrong with his personality. He doesn't get on with managers, or managers can't find a spot in the team for him, or he doesn't respond well to certain tactics or whatever. Because having spent all that money, and his record isn't bad. I know he got sent off, but his record isn't that bad. It's not as if he hasn't scored any goals for him.
No, that's true.
But something must have gone wrong that they're sending him out on loan somewhere.
After 6 months?
After 6 months. The manager, the coaching staff, the hierarchy, we can't handle him, or he doesn't like them, whatever it is, or the other players can't get on.
But do you think he might have realised that he was maybe too young to go to Saudi Arabia, and the level was not good enough for him, or something like that, despite all the money?
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But
it's a strange one.
It's a strange one. And then to go to Fenerbahce, which could he have not come back somewhere else?
To England or something.
That's disappointing for him.
Yeah.